afternoon all, Silverbolt here, back to another Transformers review. Taking a break from G1 for a bit. We're going to go on to a different Transformers series, for this one anyway. And I'm going to be doing this guy. Red truck, red cab, instantly recognisable pretty much. This is Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime as he is in Transformers Energon. Transformers Energon is the third series, including Beast Wars, to come from the Americans. And it takes place 10 years after the events that occur in Armada. So the Autobots have destroyed Unicron, the Minicons have all gone, and Megatron is buried inside Unicron. And now, 10 years later, the Autobots and the Decepticons are enjoying I won't say enjoying, but have a mutual alliance going. Unicron, however, isn't dead, and soon the action begins to stop Unicron all over again. Now, it's Prime in robot mode. Now, Prime differs quite a lot from his G1 counterpart. In the 80s version, Prime is very much the leader of the Autobots through fickle chance. He doesn't really like his role, but he does what he has to do. He's very much the reluctant hero. In Energon, Optimus Prime and the Autobots are a much more militaristic organisation. Prime is very much your military leader. He's a lot sterner. He still has quite a good heart, but it's buried under the rules of discipline. He doesn't seem to have as much patience as he used to. You know, he had infinite patience for the likes of Spike and Bumblebee getting themselves into trouble. In this one, he doesn't have as much patience. You know, the only one he really has much patience with seems to be Kicker, who's this weird energon-sensing, glowy-haired kid who rides something that looks an awful lot like a cross between the Skyboom shield and the Star Saber, but that's not a hint of that. Prime's character, as I said, is very, very different. There's not an awful lot of the old Prime there. He's still very noble, but he's lost, at least for the main part, that sense of self-sacrifice that the old Prime had. You know, I mean, you can't really forget the immortal famous words of Prime, "Megatron must be stopped no matter the cost," from Transformers the movie. This new Prime doesn't have that, and he's much quicker to resort to violence than the old Prime was. I mean, the old Prime wasn't afraid to fight, but he would do so more as a last resort, whereas the new Prime just has no compunction at all about going in all guns blazing. He's a lot sterner, to the point where he actually punches Ironhide, because Ironhide is a very irritating character in Energon and won't shut up. But a much sterner Prime, though you do see aspects of the old Prime come towards the end, when Prime decides that he's going to fight Unicron all by his lonesome, leading to some very impressive battle scenes. Now, in Transformers Armada, Energon, sorry, the Autobots have this ability to do something called Power Link, and it kind of like makes them into like this mini Jessel kind of thing. They can combine with another Autobot. Inferno and Hotshot do it quite a lot. Then towards the end of the series, Hotshot and Rodimus do it quite a bit. I'll probably do a review of Rodimus actually, because Rodimus is a very, very cool character in Energon. Rodimus is a really funky character in Energon. Back to Prime. Prime at the start doesn't power link with the bog standard Autobots. He saves that later on for Omega Supreme. Though he does power link in Armada with Jetfire. But in Energon he only really power links with Wing Saber and I said his name a minute ago. That's it, Omega Supreme. But he still has a power link ability, and in his trailer, because of course what Prime is complete without a trailer, which is this thing, which looks like a mockery of a Tatooine Landcrawler. Really is a weird shaped thing. He has these four vehicles, which represent in their way the four elements. You have Optimus Prime Part 1, which is a fire engine for fire. Optimus Prime Part 2, which is this helicopter thing, which I haven't actually got fully transformed, but there we go. The helicopter thing. You have Optimus Prime Part 3, which is this cross between a Thunderbird's mole and nose cone for Earth, and then you have Optimus Prime 4, which is a submarine for water. And they all power link to form this big motherfucker Prime, and he is quite an impressive piece of shit, I'll tell you that much. Onto the toy itself. Now, when you first get this Prime, I have to say, he's not very impressive. He really isn't that impressive. You know, he's got this huge, big, bulky out chest, you know, big, raw Dolph Lundgren, Arnold Schwarzenegger style chest. But he's got these weedy little arms, and these weedy legs, and this itty bitty head. For a quick reference to Aladdin there. And it's not much to look at in this. I mean, okay, yeah, I'll admit, I'm mostly a G1er, so, you know, obviously I'm going to prefer the old toys, but not much in the slightest until you put him together and you combine him with the 4 other Prime parts. And it's very simplistic to do. One of the things that they did with Armada and with Energon and with Cybertron was they got rid of this whole, what happened in the 80s was that they transformed fine, but then the toys didn't really recollect their cartoon, didn't mimic very well their cartoon counterparts. You know, Megatron's a classic example of that. You know, one of the biggest of the Decepticons transforms into this itty bitty gun. So there we go. Right, just putting them together. So with Armada and with Energon and with Cybertron, they fixed that, and they made, from a critical point of view, they made the cartoon to look like a 20-minute infomercial for the new toys, because the toys resemble their cartoon counterparts. Gone was the overcomplicated spinning round, looping through the air, this bit folds here and that bit folds there, transformation style. Now it was all the legs fold down and flip over, the arms tucking underneath or down into the sides, and it was done in such a way that they look pretty good, but the toys also reflect the fact the toys and the cartoon Transformers look exactly the same, which from a positive point of view looks good, from a cynical point of view can be construed as bad and just another way for Hasbro to sell more toys. Right, here he is bulked up. Now I don't have the big head for him. I don't have the big head for the Prime. I got it cheap off eBay, and the head was actually missing. I never even noticed that it was missing, to be honest with you. But this is in Prime, and he's a Jesselt, and he's big. He's as big as Computron nearly. So he is a big combiner, and he really does have this meaty, I'm powerful Optimus Prime, who doesn't want to stand in my hand. And it really does look nice in this mode. Hence I display him in this mode. I mean, I don't like the trailer. This rip-off sandcrawler job, I don't like it at all. But in this mode, I think he does look very, very nice. Obviously, he's not a G1 Prime, you know, he's not as good as a G1 Prime, but still, he does look very, very nice. If you can get this guy, pick him up quite cheap on eBay. I picked one up, I think I picked mine up for about 15 quid, so not that expensive at all. And display him like this, because he looks very, very nice. On his own, he looks quite shit. He really does. He's got, as I said, he's got those weedy legs, those weedy arms, that tiny head, and that big chest. But in this mode, he does look awesome fun. You should be able to pick him up quite cheaply. With the huge popularity of the new Prime from Transformers Cybertron, which I was told by several retailers was the #1 toy for Christmas last year, sorry. You should be able to get this guy quite cheap off eBay, or even off Amazon actually, or something like that. If you can pick him up. You know, he's a Prime, so he's worth it. But very nice toy, good cartoon as well. I have to admit, I like the cartoon. But that's Prime. Not much else I can say about him really. Other than that, he's a Prime, so he's going to have a pride of place in my collection. He's actually standing at the front, mainly because to rearrange the shelving of my room would be a nightmare to get him to stand at the back. But he's a very nice toy, once you've combined him. Once you've made him into this Jesselt thing, he's very, very nice. On his own, though, not so much. But that's Optimus Prime for Transformers Energon. I'm going to sign off now. So this is Silverbolt saying adios, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen.